I've got to be honest. Surely, if you're a Chelsea fan or a Man City fan, through no fault of your own, you go into this final, and there's an element of it feeling unsavoury because of everything that's been and gone. And my point is, at this moment in time, there's an opportunity for activism and an opportunity for changes to be made. Because what I see happening is utter dominance from Premier League teams every other year, not every 5 years. Welcome back to James and Flav for now. Sorry, I'm looking at something and I want to show you it. Flav sent me this. Can I show it?
What?
Can I show you this? Your face.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Check it out. This Flav.
You got to share your stream, mate. I can't see fuck all.
All right. Well, the people can see it. You're currently holding the L.
Oh, right. So, yeah, this morning I was on YouTube, right? I often sort of browse YouTube. I'm getting into the shorts. You know, the shorts on...
Are you?
Yeah, I just think they're all right. Anyway...
I'm scared to put shorts out because I'm worried it's going to, screw things up a bit. I don't know.
Do you know that the YouTube algorithm punishing channels who should put out short-form content? The algorithm is no longer picking them up. They're not perpetuating
really
short films, because they want to push people towards. They want to push people towards the shorts, the YouTube shorts, and there's a lot of people moaning about it. I'm like, well, it's theirs, isn't it? It's up to them, really. They own the platform. They can do whatever they like with it.
Asan says, "Welcome to all our patrons who are joining us right now. We have got a very." It's a difficult request, but it's a special request, and we're dreaming big that hopefully this week's mailbag could be very special, because in today's podcast we will be previewing one of the biggest games of the season as Aunt Bessie's take on Internazionale. We'll be talking about that, and we have a request. I'll do it early. Basically, we'd like to do a watch along of the Aunt Bessie's highlights. Tom Whitby, if you can do it. We'd love to do it on Patreon. Our lovely patrons will be able to watch that. You guys can as well. There's a link in the description if you want to get involved. And Asan, what was it? Asan just said shorts are TikToks for old people, apparently. So there you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
So as you're browsing,
I'm
you come
scrolling
across
down.
This
was about quarter to 7 this morning. I didn't know that existed. I found out this morning as I was just waking up that existed. If people don't know, I'm on this show called Hold the L, and you basically have to defend a position in football based on.
It's a good format. It's a good format.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to everyone at Bull Street who come up with it. Well, I was nothing to do with it, but I'm often in a difficult situation on this show because. As a Spurs fan, I'm talking to a Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool fan, right?
Joy.
All the big six, all the ones, the scum, basically, of English football, the scourge of English football. And so this week, I've held the L 4 weeks on the bounce because they keep putting me in situations where I can't, it's impossible for me to defend. It's like, what's it called? So the greatest ever Champions League moment, and naturally as a Spurs fan, the only one I can talk about with any kind of authority was Spurs beating Ajax, because that is the greatest moment for me, naturally. But the three other people we're talking to in this instance had all won the competition. So I've got to go to Paul and trying to convince Paul Mason of Redmen TV and trying to convince him that us beating Ajax in the semi-final in late fashion was better than Istanbul.
I think it was. Istanbul, they didn't win the game. They didn't win the bloody game, guys.
They drew their way to the final.
Yeah.
Good, but I should have said that. That's why you'd be good on that, Jim. Anyway, but the sweetest thing is that Arsenal weren't included because they've never had a Champions League moment that's worth talking about. So that was a good one.
Okay.
But yeah, go and watch the show.
Now, if you want to.
It. Go over there and just say, "Isn't Flav great?"
Flav's great. This Flav seems to be the problem with Flav keeps holding the L because he has to appease the other guests. That's essentially what's happening here, I think.
Yeah.
Right, let's get into it. Like I said, we've got Derby Games is back. back with a bang. So we missed out on some school rules and school nicknames last week, so we'll dive into them. And Sonny has an update that I haven't read yet. I read the first sentence and I thought, well, this is probably juicy. He used the phrase "end game," which so stick around to the end of the podcast. For those of you who have just arrived, we will talk about football as briefly as possible, but it probably won't be that brief. And then we will talk about anything but you will enjoy it, so stick around. Should we begin with the big, I get it wrong every week, the Jim Big Laugh Award?
Yeah.
So this is, I read the comments, again, for people who aren't watching, all the Aunt Bessie's fans that have been sent over here to today's big game, this weekend's big game. The comments is basically where we create the show. And so if I read out a comment and it makes me laugh out loud, I will put it in as a nominee for the Jim Big Laugh Award, which Flav will judge right now. Let's go. Will Hinsley. Not going to lie, lads. I've got 25 minutes in and I'm switching this off. Far too much football chat. Do better. Caught me at the end. Very good. You got a little giggle out of me there. Well done, Will. 20. I've got, because I thought, oh no, oh God, what's happened? Well, actually, I wasn't even that excited about it. But I was like, I'm 25 minutes in and I'm switching. It's like he's giving it a chance and it's just not funny, which are the worst comments when people are just disappointed. They're not like ridiculously reckless with their comments. Anyway, far too much football chat. Do better. Great work. Louis on top of it with the timestamps. And shout out to Louis who does the timestamps each week. Absolute hero. He says, football chat ends in 31:42. Just 6 more minutes, Will. Hang in there. So that's the first nomination. Peter G, who's one of our patrons. I see you. Who's also, he's getting a bit of a reputation as being quite funny. I think he had a post-coital thing for us last week. He's got another one this week. So post-coital talk is things that you would say when you hit the pillow after sex. Your favourite one, Flav, is...
Just after you've blown your beans up her muff.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say? It's, and the best one we've heard is "I'll do pig."
He loves it. He loves it. It makes him laugh every week. He says it every week.
Imagine saying that. Like rather than go, "Oh, that'll do, pig. That'll do."
You've got to hope that she's into films. Pig. Yeah. Pig. I mean, she's got to be super slim, otherwise, like she will be like,
"Fuck."
Yeah.
But look, the thing is that most women are not super slim, are they? Most people are not super slim. I'm not super slim. And everyone's a little bit body conscious, but you only have to be marginally body conscious just to completely destroy. You've just had this wonderful experience, right? You've just ejaculated. She's orgasmed. What? Come grow up. She's just orgasmed all over the place. The walls are coated with it, right? And then you
grow up, he said.
And then you lie back and go, "That'll do, pig."
Yeah. So we've got a new one. We might be able to do a bit of a mega mix where we've done someone's the type of guy. It could be we could maybe have a player or someone within football, and we ask them what would be the post-coital talk. Peter G may have set this bit off with a Jamie Carragher post-coital talk. Pulls out his iPad to highlight the moment of climax. And I just want to stop it there. Very good. Aidan Plumpton. This is the second full pod I've watched, and after the monologue of nursing a semi whilst a picturesque Gareth Bale is laying on the bed, I knew this was the place for me. 14 likes. And update. We've got an update. Last week's winner was Harry Wallace, whose dad thought I was a prick. We've got an update from him. He said, after my dad calling Jim a prick last week, I've since showed him the clip of you speaking about it and he thought it was hilarious. What a result. What a result. Say? Get in. I don't know.
Go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back and watch it. And he thought it was hilarious. He retracts his statement and actually thinks you are both funny now. However, always a dangerous word. When I asked him if he would now watch any of your content, he still said no.
No, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah,
not for everybody.
That's fine. Mixed signals. If it's any consolation, though, I'm now an official moist slug. What a time to be alive. Congratulations, Harry. Welcome.
A little bit noncy if your dad's spending a load of time on YouTube anyway. Especially because Jim looks young. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Dad, what are you doing? Just watching James. Yeah.
Why? legal,
What's-
innit?
I don't know. I don't know if I should ask.
Legal.
I don't know if I should ask this question, Flav. But what's the age limit on people watching? So say you're saying I look young. Who's someone who looks older? What's the age limit of people that can watch me, and what's the age limit of someone who can watch, say, Stephen Howson, who's just a very manly man?
Yeah, I mean, any age you can watch Howson. That's fine. There's nothing untoward going on there. But if you're over 50, 60, imagine a 60-year-old man and he's only here to watch you, Jim. You got to just wonder what his agenda is. But also, you got to think.
I call it football chat.
It could be that, or it might be that he doesn't want to break the law, does he? And he just needs to find ways to satisfy his urges. And James's wonderful cherub-like face is the way he does it.
Peter G says, Peter G's talking about, in our mailbag, we were talking about, Rob Turner was asking if someone who's 28 having a girlfriend who's 18, is that okay? And we settled on what Peter says here is half your age plus 7, Jim. So I think that would be the same.
Half my age plus 7, so 20. So
that's the lower
barrier. By that proxy, I could go out with someone who's 26.
Which probably, or it'd be, maybe it's double my age minus 7. So if you're
and double your age minus 7.
If you're 62, turn this off. You're creeping me out.
Yeah. He's like, I don't like him, but I like him.
Oh dear. Anyway, what else we got? And I think last nominee, Khan says, "Don't be under pressure to end the football chat, lads. I really enjoy it." And of course,
what do people fucking want?
We're going
to talk. What do they want? One person saying, "Oh, there's too much. I turned it off." Next person saying, "Don't be under pressure." So how about just leave us alone? Everybody, out.
Everyone leave. All of you. The 5 replies. One says less of that. Archie said banned. Tom says get a grip. Leaftree says less of that. Quite enough football talk for one football podcast. And James Simpson said, "Let us know when you've grown up, mate."
I was watching. I watched the first 20 minutes of football chat last week. I was doing the washing up, and I still had more stuff to say. Bizarrely, weirdly,
wow,
I can't remember what it was now. But you were the one that moved it on, which was good. But it's fine. That's good.
Well, we're going to talk. I want to talk about Man City and Chelsea making the final and what that says.
Oh, airtime. Are we giving that circus airtime? Circus airtime.
How it made me feel, I thought was interesting. Before that, let's do a couple of the quotes of the pod. Where are they? Here they are. Are they? Yes, they are. George Baldwin. So check out last week's podcast. Apparently, Flav was saying that people enjoyed it. So go check it out. George Baldwin. The problem is... So this is the first quote of the pod. The problem is, even if you get it up halfway through, you're going to lose it again. So that has been Gareth Bale's season at Spurs. Okay, that's enough football chat. Football chat signal from Jim.
Yeah.
That was the end of that. Onion Bag, 77 likes on this one. Football fans, especially young ones, are like meth heads, and he's got all the good meth. And we'll be talking. You put forward your transfer taglines if me and Flav were to go into that Fabrizio Romano world of Twitter transfer gossip. We'll be revealing them soon. Ed Nicole, quote the pod, "The beautiful woman was Gareth Bale on the bed, and I was just standing there, pathetic, nursing a semi." And Adam Lewis, she's on the bed, beautiful negligee on her, done her hair, smells amazing, makeup amazing, and I'm standing there with a pot belly, naked, left my socks on and half a lob on. You're very articulate when you want to be.
I don't remember saying that at all.
Final one, Lukey Bromwich, quote of the pod. Jim, how are you, mate? Flav, successful. This is the self-arse-licking shithousery we need in our lives, up the lads. I like that one because the fact that that can be a joke and land, and you can understand that we're kidding, is why this community is the best.
So I did watch it back, and I was like, so not everyone's going to get that. Some people might think, fuck, these are a right pair of wankers. But, I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Right, comments of the week, which leads us into the fact that we have an all-English Premier League Champions League final, and quite possibly we're recording this before Man United, you would expect, would go through. That'd be fun if they didn't. And Arsenal are playing Villarreal. So you could have the double up of a Champions League with 2 English clubs and a Europa League with 2 English clubs. Again, it happened a couple of years ago, which is interesting. Yeah. Comment of the week goes to Blake Newton. Just checking in. Think about this. Phil Foden is so good. He's 20 years old and called Phil, and no one notices. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I get.
Everyone's forgotten he's got. You aren't your name. Do you know what I mean? Your name is you. Wow, got him good. Yeah. Man City good, Chelsea good. But how does it make you feel? I did kind of at the end of it. I was like, looking at both those teams. Look how petulant PSG got, and Real Madrid, who just looked exhausted. This morning I was kind of thinking about it. It's just like, it made me not sympathise with the those European teams that wanted a Super League, but as much as a Super League is a messy road to go down, a bad road to go down for the sport.
Yeah.
Premier League there is so much money in the Premier League. They are so dominant when it comes to the money that they have to spend. And if you think of even that Real Madrid team, Cruz has been there 10 years, Modric has been there 10 years, Ramos has been there 10 years. There's money been spent on Hazard. Benzema's been there 10 years. That is that's like these are sort of dying embers of that team. Barcelona are trying to kind of rejuvenate themselves now, and you hope that there are phases, aren't there? There was like about 3 or 4 years, well, maybe a little bit longer. There was a period where some of the the English teams were struggling in Europe, and people go, oh no. But my concern is the fact that if you're getting all English finals for both so frequently, if you zoom out on year by year, that there's so much. We can't just stop and go back to where, okay, well, look, that's the Super League's not happening, but the Premier League's dominating, and it's dominating for a reason. Like, I'm slightly worried about European football.
Are you?
A little bit.
Why? What's to worry about? Like, so what? England clubs win it every time. We get better players. Like, I don't give a shit about how good other teams are in other leagues or how strong their league is. But the Premier League is what it is because of the money that's gone into it and how well it's been branded and how much more fun it is to watch our football than any other football.
Well, I guess the point I wanted to make is that I feel like there is hypocrisy in all of that, though, isn't there? Where do you stop? Where do you put your borders? In terms of the game that we like. Do you know what I mean? That's what I wanted to explore.
Yeah, I get it. I'm from my position, my position, Jim. Like, is if Spurs are not in it, I don't watch it. So it really does. I don't care about the integrity of the competition, and I don't really care about. If Spurs are in the Premier League, and it's important. The pyramid's a different thing. The Champions League isn't something that needs protecting because fundamentally it's quite a horrible product.
No, so here's my point, right? So you're saying if they're not in the Champions League, you don't care about it.
Yeah.
What if you're in the Champions League, and we've seen this already that these big teams don't want to play these group stage games against Krasnodar. We look at how people turn their nose up at the League Cup. We look at how people, we're doing derby games in a minute. We look at how one of the things was Fulham versus Burnley is both these teams could be relegated and I'd never think about them ever again. Derby. It's like the Super League for me is like, it's made me look again of all the stuff that you're allowing to just, go by. And if it gets to a point,
the Champions League isn't the one that's worth saving. Like, the Champions League isn't I get what you're saying, but the Champions League is and always will be about money. And that's why it's the most attractive competition to win. and that's why people would much rather get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League than they would win Europa Cup.
No, no, I disagree. It's the same problems. It's the exact same problems. If you can look at, like, if I can find Champions League semi-finalists, right? If you go back, the more that money becomes a part of it, of course, big teams are big teams, but the more it happens, the more it goes on, the more boring it gets, because it's just the same teams in it again and again and again. And you're just like, if you look at, I don't know if we'll be able to, if this will turn up or not. It probably won't. But think of, like, Lyon making semi-finals, Panathinaikos making semi-finals, Dynamo Kiev making semi-finals in the past. What you're doing again, it's just slowly happening again.
Yeah.
Just like it goes further and further and further, and it gets exacerbated by the financial doping that the Champions League offers up a lot of the time, just to calm down people, to calm down these teams. And that Champions League format, I look at that Champions League format and I just think, as much as that was down to UEFA, I feel like UEFA are being pushed, because UEFA want the best competition they can have. And so if they were able to spread out the money more, I think they, of course, they're maybe they're taking too much themselves. Fine. I don't know the ins and outs of that. But the money could be spread out much, much more fairly. And when I look at, because the way the money works is that you've Premier League, amazing, this amazing asset that brings in so much money, and Champions League, amazing asset that brings in so much money. La Liga, Serie A, all these other leagues, their Premier League is the money is less. The excitement is less because of how they've done their TV rights and how they've allowed La Liga, for example, Barcelona and Real Madrid to get so much more money. And it stretches and stretches and stretches so that the competition is boring. For the Premier League teams, the exact same thing is happening because their Premier League money is so much bigger and it's dwarfing those other guys. So there's I get it's not their fault and it's not their doing, but I see the exact same problems happening and occurring.
But what you're asking for is a kind of socialist model in football, which is run almost entirely by private companies. Oh. So you want prize money to be shared equally, or whatever money fee you get in. But the clubs are actually doing the work, that are bringing the eyes on the competition. And by doing the work, I just mean having the biggest global brand, but essentially adding value, sponsorship, advertising to the competition. You're asking them, despite the size of their brand, to give away what they're due to clubs that are smaller, to make it more difficult for them. I get it. In the interest of competition, it's much better for that.
But do you know what gets forgotten here, right? So imagine tennis, right? Murray, Nadal, Djokovic, blah, blah, blah. Although the stars of those, of tennis, right? They rise, they get old, they move on. There's the next conveyor belt of people. With team sport, that same thing doesn't exist because, yes, of course you have the stars and there's the ebb and flow of the teams, the evolution of the teams. You're seeing that with Real Madrid. But, the teams themselves don't change. But the fact remains that, yes, they're bringing the eyeballs, but only because they don't age, if you know what I mean. Like if you're looking at that comparison with tennis, the important thing is that there still has to be this understanding of what is needed for sport to thrive, and it's competition. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just because you wonder if that sort of swing in power, because of the Super League and everything, is it just going to get totally forgotten about, and let's just go back to, like Chelsea. I've got to be honest, surely if you're a Chelsea fan or a Man City fan, through no fault of your own, you go into this final, and there's an element of it feeling unsavoury because of everything that's been and gone. And my point is, at this moment in time, there's an opportunity for activism and an opportunity for changes to be made, because what I see happening is utter dominance from Premier League teams every other year, not every 5 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And if you think that because the Super League didn't happen, that there isn't going to be something else happening in the future, then it's naive, because this isn't...
But you don't have to just go with it, do you? I feel more energised by the fact that public opinion stopped that Super League. And when I look at Germany and the activism that they have, all the protests that they have, those protests one by one don't work. But there's a higher sort of conscience that the clubs have, but because of all of that. And so I think it's important.
Yeah, no, it is important. It is really important. It's just in terms of the Super League stuff, that wasn't just fan movement, and I think fans have taken a lot of credit for stopping that from happening. It was a combination of a lot of things, not least the fact that Sky Sports, UEFA, and FIFA were fiercely against it, and it felt like there was this massive groundswell movement. When it was, but we had massive media backing, which you don't usually have, and we had massive backing from the governors of the game
and the players, I guess, as well.
And the players, it became impossible for them, right? And it should be that the competition's fair, like the Swedish league, where you have different winners every year. That's fantastic, but no one gives a shit about it because no one watches it. No one's interested. And the fact is that they are interested in the Premier League. More people across the world are interested in the Premier League, which gives them the financial power to buy the best players and employ the best coaches. I
get all of that, mate, but I just think that there's for the first time I've seen, and I get it, it's not all about the fans, but it was about pressure. It was about pressure from all of those outlets, like, together. And so the player, the Gary Nevilles and all those guys, say what you want about them. Sorry, they're doing the windows. The public pressure is a thing, and it needs to, it has to continue. And so I just think, I think we need to kind of harness that and not forget about that, because that pressure needs to be there to keep everyone honest. Of course, the big teams are always going to be the big teams. I don't doubt that. But sort of that moral compass is important. You're seeing it in every walk of life, mate. You see it in every walk of life. You see it in how food's being made, how clothes are being made, food that we eat, clothes that we wear, that same thing. Like, why not football as well?
I mean, I would say if we're going to put this energy in it, that football is probably the last thing we need to fix first. But that's just my opinion. There's problems within football that need addressing first before the quality of competition is addressed. And there's issues around. Actually, I won't get into that because it's going to move the discussion in a different area. But look, I get it. I understand, and I think I don't. There was a flashpoint. Everyone could get behind the Super League. It's really hard to get. There is. So you remember during when the Super League went through, they pushed through the new format for the Champions League, and no one spoke about it, and it's really damaging to the game and to the competition. Very things you mentioned. The fact that teams will be paid more to be in the competition based on their audience size than a team that's actually on merit deserve to be there ahead of someone else. Like if Arsenal or Spurs got through the qualifying stages of the Champions League, if that happens, then there might be the league winners of, or say Lyon won the league this year, they would be paid less because Spurs or Arsenal bring a bigger global audience. So that sort of stuff is happening, and I've got to a stage, Jim, especially with stuff like the Champions League. I just don't really care about it. I just don't care.
What do you mean?
I don't care if it's. I don't care if there's two English teams in it every summer, every final. If it's Spurs, then great. But other than that, I just don't care about.
Maybe that's a different perspective for me. I'm pushing my agenda. My agenda is that there needs to be opportunity. There needs to be possibility. There needs to be hope. And that's what disgusted people so much about the Super League. So when I look at as good as Man City are and as good as Chelsea are, they're both young teams. But there's look at the benches of both those teams. Look at the teams that they put out this weekend against each other and the amount of changes that they make. Really sorry about the drilling.
You can barely hear it, just so you know.
Okay. If you think about all of that, okay, it's fine right now. It's the same, but it's exactly the same thing. You just broaden it out more and more.
But what I'd say, Jim, is if this may be a cycle. It may be.
I hope it is a cycle. I think. Look, you're right in terms of you're right in terms of Barcelona and Real Madrid and how they've had to kind of switch it up. You've seen that with Barcelona and how they've, rejuvenated their team this season, but they're still sort of struggling in the big games. I get it.
Yeah.
If
you look at it, I know the fact that it's the Europa League as well, which is, if it's a Champions League, it's happened. And if you look, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid in the same space, Real Madrid again, Barcelona the year before. It's the fact that Europa League is also included as well in both competitions. That's where you're thinking, actually, even teams that are finishing, that aren't doing well this season, i.e. Arsenal, are sort of at a canter should they beat Villarreal.
That's a great point. It's the expectation of it as well. That's dangerous because expectation leads to, boredom. And that's why people look at the Europa League sometimes. Like that Arsenal Villarreal game, that's going to be a great game. Villarreal have put together a really sort of clever side with a good mix of great Spanish players coming through, but also experience as well. It will be a really good game. But and again, look, I don't mind being naive or just sort of maybe to rose tinted glass or whatever. I like competition. I like the sport. So I'm not gonna. I get the idea, and I even said it on this podcast last week when we were talking about Ronaldo. Ronaldo won't want to play in the Europa League, which is a fact, which is true. But any competition, its value is based on what it means to people, and that comes from competition and prestige.
What do you want to win? And then you think Pochettino is the most heralded manager at Tottenham. Everyone loved him. Would frequently dismiss the FA and League Cup as inconsequential.
What's he won though?
Nothing.
I've got to show you this though. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. Chelsea fans or Man City fans, I'd love to know what you think. Just because.
Are we going to talk about the game at all?
Yeah, we can do. Happy to. The game's in 25 days. They've got each other at the weekend as well.
I don't care about the tactics or whatever these managers are doing. I don't care about that.
Okay.
But it's. We right now we talk about that.
I'll do that.
On the game.
I'll do that one.
You do that on my own. But it does. Especially what just pissed me off about it, right? Is I was on Twitter, and the Man City fans, man, it's there's this bloke who posted a picture of when Spurs. Do you remember 10 years ago? Spurs beat us to the top 4 place. And now 10 years later, we're in the Champions League. Who'd have thought it? Everybody. It's madness that you haven't even got there. It's taking you this long.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was. Every season, your favourites to win it because of all the money you spent. I remember I did this thing with BBC, Chris Sutton, which is basically a stitch up every time. But I don't mind doing it. It's fun. It's fun to do. And there was this girl, I can't remember, some Kipak something. And she was saying, because of the Super League, that means no one can ever criticise Manchester City ever again. That because of the Super League and everyone was involved, you can't say anything about Manchester City and all the money we have. And it's that makes zero sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. All right, I might not be able to as a Spurs fan because we've done something wrong. James can. He's a QPR fan. He sees it. And the fact is, the fact that it's taken this long for Man City to get there is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't give it a big one.
And the point is, comments like that, that's my point, is the needle was going. It was going so far, and it's been gently going to a point where it fell over, and they tried to push it forward. Fortunately enough, we pushed it back to not even halfway, but at least where we were. Comments like that where you go, we're starting from here now. No, we need to push back more. So that's why the protests, the Man United protests, and everything I've seen. Understandably, there has to be this conversation on any mainstream piece of content where you go, well, of course we don't want violence, blah 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 blah. I forget that for a second. It was an important protest. It was a good protest. It made a difference, and it needs to continue. Howson made a good. He said, "Put your foot down." Not as in stop, as in put pedal to the metal. Go for it. Because if it doesn't happen now, that's why I feel like if there aren't changes, if the Premier League don't capitalise on this moment of power, UEFA, that's why I'm gutted that they put that forward, that new Champions League. But I feel that Champions League was driven by these big clubs, that we didn't know previously. And so it would have gone through. But I'd like to see them move the needle now. Got to keep pushing now. Can't just go, oh, okay, it's okay now. It's bollocks.
Well, I tell you why there's a bit of an issue, right? Is what I think should happen because of the Super League is that all of the clubs involved need to be sanctioned severely. Points deductions, transfer bans, banning from the competition altogether. I think there should be a European ban on English clubs, on those top 6 clubs, rather. Sorry. And then this is an example. This is what's going to happen if you.
So not on Serie A, on these other, not on Inter Milan's, not on
anyone involved.
Right.
Anyone involved. But I'm just talking about from our perspective. Right, about my own club. What is important for fans of each of these clubs to say we need to be punished. My club needs to be punished. That sends out of a message. When you actually went on Twitter, when FSG said we apologised, what do you want us to do? Back the manager. We want you to back the manager. There are some fans out there that were really hurt by this, but there are other fans that are just pissed off that their team aren't signing players. Genuinely, that's the case. Like there was at the same time as like FSG was trending, there was also hashtag sign Mbappe. If you want to sign Mbappe, I know you want to sign him, but if you don't consider the financial implications on the club and what the club needs to do to raise that money, and then you're protesting against something like the Super League, which is the exact way that a club like Liverpool can afford Mbappe and more, then you don't know what you're talking about. You're a complete hypocrite. And this is the thing, and no one's willing to take that sanction. I bet you if you asked like the majority of the fans of the clubs, and I'm just picking this out of the air, right? But this is my assumption, is that if you ask them, would you be willing to accept a 12-point deduction and a transfer ban for the next two windows and this season, just so there's never a Super League again? I bet most wouldn't. I bet most said no. Actually, no, it's fine. With enough's enough. You know what I mean? I bet they wouldn't.
But so I was chatting to my dad about this. My dad was like, he said, if you look at if there won't be a points deduction, like that won't happen because the first thing that these clubs do is they spend they'll spend $1 million on lawyers and they'll look into the contract and they'll pick it apart. And so that he was saying that's just something that's just won't happen. What I'm actually more excited about is because I don't want this just to be one moment. I want it to be like loads and loads of moments. I think you take them out of the decisions of the Premier League. That's what you do. You ban the top brass from those clubs. You take them out of the Premier League discussions for the next 5 years. And that's how you Yeah, and you move the needle that way. And that we go, well, look, you happen to move on. Let's have a vote on it. 14 of us needed. Let's go. Because they won't walk. They have to stay. They need the money.
But they can't walk. Yeah, no, they desperately need it.
They tried to bloody walk, didn't they, when it suits them? So, but now this time, see how it feels. Good luck.
I don't think they wanted to walk. They wanted everything. They wanted to stay and do that. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
And what I'm saying is, when you first said that about them banning the the top
take away their voice. They tried to take everyone else's.
Yeah. So I when you first said it, I was like, but you can't, can you? But it's if you just simply say you're not welcome to this meeting, that's all it needs. If you exclude these people, from these decision makings and give the power to the other clubs just for a period of time, because that's exactly what the clubs did, is that they tried to land grab, a power grab.
Yeah, take away their iPad. Do you know what I mean? You're not watching telly. You're not going to watch telly for the next 2 weeks. What? I love telly. Oh, do you? Well, go read a book.
Oh, do you?
I just want to read this because I got sent this by Jake Hopkinson, who's really interesting guy. He's helped me with some of the psychology videos that I've tried to do. He said, "As buying club president Uli Hoeneß on the club's season ticket prices, we could charge more than £104. Let's say we charge 300 quid. We get 2 million more in income. But what's 2 million to us? In a transfer discussion, you argue about the sum for 5 minutes. But the difference between £104 and 300 is huge for the fan. We do not think the fans are like cows you milk. Football has got to be for everybody. That's the biggest difference between us and England." I think that's my point. We've got to open. Yeah, but we've got to open our eyes. We have to open our eyes and be active. So much more so than we have been. You're right. Don't just when people go, "Oh, we're going to spend 30 million on another centre back." Let's go. Well, why are you spending that much money on it? Where's that coming from? Is that good for the game? We've all got to be much smarter with all of this, and I feel like it's happening, but I just don't want it to stop.
The Premier League could force, I'd imagine, could demand a model where there needs to be fan representation and fan decision making within every club. In order to be a member of the Premier League, you have to have this in place. It's never going to be 50+1, I don't think, but having a fan member on the board, that I think possibly in my limited knowledge of this stuff is a start to just get. But I don't know. It's
take away the voice, man. I think that's the only way you can that's the only way you can do it for me. Because all the other bits, you need to keep the wheels moving.
Yeah.
Let's move on because I do want to show you this. This is so good, right? So check this out. I saw this today. Now, I'm streaming this, so you should be able to hear this, Flav. James Dart, sure that post-match Hazard image won't be a big deal. Did you see this? You see him? So when the game finished, obviously they're all shaking hands like they always do. Hazard cracking up with Zuma, right?
Yep.
So sure that post. So this is a Spanish show, the El Chiringuito TV, which is the one which Perez went on, and just listen to the music. It doesn't matter. I've got a couple of the quotes down below, but listen to the music and let's see if was it a big deal or was it not a big deal.
El Madrid eliminado y Hazard partiéndose la caja. Hazard.
Oh my God.
2 años.
So weird.
Tomándole el pelo al madridismo.
The music.
2 años.
And so, by the way, if you're ever watching a food program, MasterChef, stop listening to what they're saying and just listen to the music. It's exactly like this when they're doing the judging.
Pasado de kilos. Sin irse de nadie.
But the steak was... you said the steak was going to be medium.
Estaba leyendo.
But it was medium rare.
Como muchos decíais. Otro Bale de la vida. Otro Bale de la vida.
Anyway, it goes on.
He's apoplectic. The idea that Hazard could make it, like he doesn't really.
Yeah, some of the comments are so good. Looking at the Brill cream section in Boots, like he literally was rubbing his hands at the chance of kind of getting at them. But yeah, a couple of the comments here. Look, Daniel Wolf. So the best 2 segments are another Bale lives, and he ends with Hazard, you cannot go on here. So good as that.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what he finished with. How brilliant is that?
Wow.
So, rule 1 of football: you lose a game, don't smile, get off the pitch. All right, then you can smile as much as you bloody want.
Yeah, is it that? Is it
especially
just simply,
Hazard?
Is it simply that he just doesn't care, or he's not oblivious? He's essentially a veteran in the game. You know, how old must he be? 29, 30? He knows the game.
Yeah.
So
weird.
It is weird, but that geezer needs to fucking grow up. Do you know what I mean? Get a life.
Dun, dun. Derby games. On their way to you. The guys doing the windows downstairs will have heard that. I just realised. Embarrassing. Well done, guys.
Wait. Will you take a moment back, please? That wasn't embarrassing. You be you.
Just a weird thing.
You be you, Jim.
Derby games in partnership with Ben Spanton Walker. AK, the producer, says the only Derby game I care about this weekend is the Bessies versus Internazionale. Oh my good God, it's happening. I'm going to run through and we'll come back to Aunt Bessie's. Big Mad Andy says Man City versus Chelsea is the lubrication derby where every player is bought with oil. Which we've spoken about all that. Luke Bingham, Man City versus Chelsea is that we promised we had to do it to stay competitive and not the money derby. Levy Pemberton, Chelsea versus City is that we hate the Super League but hope our owners don't leave us or we are in the shit derby. All straight facts. Nicholas says Fulham versus Burnley, about as different as 2 English managers could be. True, isn't it? Goodbye. Scotty Parker's on his way out. Could be going to Spurs. Exciting times. Yeah.
Although, do you know, just quickly on that, apparently Ten Hag to Spurs isn't dead.
It's not dead.
Do you know why?
Go on.
You know he signed a new contract stay at Ajax. Apparently, Ajax activated the option they had, and it means that if Spurs want him and we're still interested, that just means we have to pay a lot more compensation than we would have done otherwise.
Right.
And the statement from Ten Hag was you got to say something. I think it's absolute bollocks, and he will definitely stay at Ajax. But it's just interesting, these sort of things, isn't it? It's like what someone said in the YouTube comments, like in terms of having the Fabrizio Romano kind of saying. No, we're going to come on to those, aren't we, Jim?
We are.
Okay, but just one of them just said, it might happen.
yeah, that's good. which could go, you sort of, well, what might happen? And then you keep reading, and objective, completed. I tell you what, just very quickly, 3 names. So obviously you want Ten Hag, but if you couldn't get him, in order, your top 3. So Ten Hag, then who?
Top 3 would be Ten Hag. It would be Brendan Rodgers. Do you know what, mate?
Just leave it then, Mason. Pardew, ex-Spurs, isn't he?
I reckon, mate. So. I don't know, right? But I've had a lot of fun watching Spurs over the last week, and not apart from the fucking Champions League. I mean, the League Cup, because Man City are just too good. But anyway, it's fun watching Spurs again, right? And I don't want to dismiss an entire season just for a bit of fun. I'd like a little bit of like there being, we're quite good tactically and fun to watch. I have all of the cake.
Sure.
But this, I've heard this idea, and again, to be honest, I've never really heard of him. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's Ragnick. Is it Rag?
Yeah, Ralph Ragnick. Yeah.
Ragnick. Yeah. So him, and then just having a coach that the players get on with. So him as a DOF. I don't know.
He's
I think Brendan Rodgers is still going to come in the summer.
Yeah, Ragnick's going somewhere. I can't remember where. People know.
Chelsea wanted him to take over.
Yeah. So I was listening to a thing with Jesse March, and there is this there's this line of successors when it comes to managers, and Ralph Ragnick was Red Bull manager, and a lot of the kind of philosophy that
from him
comes from him for the future managers. And because Jesse March, Nagelsmann's gone to Bayern, Jesse March is going to go to Leipzig, and so it'd be interesting to see whoever's the next manager for Salzburg will be the next guy on that conveyor belt. But Ragnick was right at the start of that, so that is a good shout. That is a good shout. Right, cool. Here it goes. Why did Ragnick leave Leipzig? Ralf Hasenhüttl steps down as RB Leipzig head coach after failing to agree a long-term contract. Hasenhüttl has left his position as head coach RB Leipzig after failing to secure a new long-term contract.
So they're always on a sort of rolling thing.
Yeah, they just go from Austria to there and then Bayern Munich pinch him.
There's something in that, though. Not as a business model, but as in keeping things fresh. I mean, there are tons of coaches out there, and sticking with the same coach, I think, is it's almost archaic. Alex Ferguson, Wenger. I think there's
spin that both ways. I know what you mean.
I think there's a sound logic in it's much cheaper to find a good coach to take over from the previous one than it is to completely refresh the squad. So that
Klopp, Guardiola.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, but if you're RB Leipzig and you're not going to be spending huge amounts of money, then it's cheaper to find and scout good coaches and coach them up through a system than it is to refresh 6 players every other season. You know what I mean? One coach will cost you £2 or £3 million a year. Give them another contract, 6 million. Don't have to refresh the squad constantly. Get them out the door. Because Ragnick would have, if you're saying I want a long-term contract, and Hasenhüttl wants a long-term contract, that's money, isn't it? That's money they've got to put down, and they've got to find, and or they can just find fucking Nagelsmann. He's probably better than both of them.
He's
got that model and it works. Yeah, he's got. Yeah, but they'll find another one.
Oh, they'll find another one. Okay. Yeah, Ragnick. Someone saying that was ages ago. Yeah, I know it was 2019. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe good shout. Rico Isles MOT. Wolves versus Brighton is the 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 to 4 weeks derby. It's true. It's so slow. the football they play. Slug Life Wolves versus Brighton is the Prisoner of Azkaban derby, where Potter takes on the Master of Dark Arts, Remus the Wolf. Wolf it. Liam says the Aston Villa versus Man United is the Jack Grealish career trajectory derby. Be interesting. He needs to get fit. He needs to get fit. Do you know what I'm sick of people saying after every good performance from a player who's English? He's got to start, hasn't he? He's got to start for the Euros. Can't say that. It's just for everyone. Ridiculous.
It's the easy thing, isn't it? Jack Grealish does have to start though.
So does Foden. So does Mount. F1 runner. Go on.
How do you do that? You know the England shit. How do you encompass those three players? Because I don't think you can drop them even. They all have to play,
and they all want to play on the left. This is the problem. You've got if you think of England previously, before this run of games where all this hot totty's been tearing it up. Not Totti the player, Totti the flesh of English players. You've got Sterling wants to play on the left, Rashford wants to play on the left, Foden wants to play on the left, Grealish likes to play on the left. You've got a lot of players who play on the left, and you can't use them all. And Mount played kind of on the left yesterday as well, so it's pretty awkward. One of Grealish and Foden has to play as a 10, I think, and I wonder if I think Sterling's in trouble a little bit. He might get himself dropped. You might play Rashford on the right, and that's what you could do. Even then, you're kind of struggling. You could put Mount a little bit deeper, and you can play Rashford on the right, Foden on the left, Grealish through the middle. It's very attacking, but why not?
Why? Let's give it a go.
For God's sake.
Let's just fucking give it a go, Jim. Let's take the balls by the fucking horns, right?
Let's take the horns by the balls. Samism's on the way, actually.
Let's go into that competition unafraid, bashful, bold, looking to destroy, to dismantle. Let's go into that competition as a team that needs to be feared, Jim. No more this pragmatic five at the back bullshit, right? None of that.
I've got Bellingham as well. Good point. Very good
Bellingham point. As well. Play them all.
Chuck them all in.
Play every single fucker.
Play Stones at the back. Full stop.
Full stop.
And just let him play. Let him fucking play.
Just let him play. Stop getting into his head that he needs Diaz next to him. Doesn't. Just let the kid play. Innit?
Indeed. The final one I just want to say, because I thought it was good and it deserves to be read out. I think it's F1 or FI runner. Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace is the Glue derby as Chef Glue United take on Crystal Palace's PVA. Patrick Van Arnold. Great work. As we said, AK, the producer, he said the only game that matters this week, of course, is the Bessies. What a huge, huge game it is for the lads. A week off, it seems, according to the results. And murder on Zidane's floor, we've got to be careful about them. Yes, the points are, they're close points-wise, but the goal difference is really starting to kick into gear now. Of course, massive win for the Bessies against Interdux last time out. And the table looks like this at the moment. Internazionale still out in front. But the last game they played, and it was a good few weeks ago, was murder on Zidane's floor, and they lost that one. And so we go into this weekend's big game between Bessies and Internazionale. And the time is now, Flav. The time is now to make your move. It's now or never for me.
The thing is, aren't Bessies here, right? Is they can get in International's head. They lost last time out. This is the opportunity to get into their head. They've 13 wins and 3 losses. They've lost, surprisingly, and this is the opportunity. And to be honest, I was so nervous about the game. Right, I lashed out at the boys a little bit on Twitter.
Oh dear, what did you say?
Well, I want them to know how important it is to the fans. I need them to understand how big this game is. So I lashed out a bit.
Yeah, Rob says 66 to start. I think that's a no-brainer, to be honest, after the goal he scored last week.
So there are two conditions. 66 starts, or we protest.
Yeah.
And if you lose this game...
Finally some activism.
Well, I'm saving it for stuff that actually fucking matters.
Yeah.
If we lose this game... Then we protest.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about letting them off. I'm talking about flares, talking about trying to find Whitby's head. I want his head on the platter if we don't win this game.
That's nearly a Samism. Trying to find Whitby's head.
I said, I repeat, do not fuck this up.
Yeah.
Protests will be planned if we lose this.
I agree.
But I am behind you. I am behind you, boys. I'm really, really hopeful, and it'd be great. Do you know what would be the best thing? Is if me and Jim can watch the game without knowing the results. So what I'm going to do, and I think James is going to do, we talked a bit about this off air,
Yes, Dad.
is we are temporarily going to block Aunt Bessie's on Twitter so that we can watch the highlights from start to finish in full.
In full. Yeah.
What's the highlights?
The game's 40 minutes long, so we're gonna if you can film it.
Minutes.
Yeah, we'll watch it on the mailbag this week. So if you want to be a part of that watch along, become a patron, get involved. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to block you, I'm afraid, because I want to feel it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, see, this is what I want. Me and Jim, right? The big one. We don't know the results. We're genuine nerves. Let me do that as well while I'm at it. We don't know the result, and then we watch it together on the mailbag. That'd be gold.
That's peak.
Imagine celebrations if we win.
Good peak, not bad peak. Just to be clear. Huge game, like absolutely massive for the guys. If you haven't followed Aunt Bessie's, do so. Then block them, because you don't.
No, don't block. Don't block them. We're the only ones that are blocking them. So don't stop blocking them. They'll probably get a fucking report against them, but Twitter will go, "Why is this cunt getting so many people blocking them?"
And don't forget, so live stream watching it. We'll get the clip. I'll download. So what you got to do, Whitby, is you got to send me the clip or put it on YouTube, and we'll watch it live in the mailbag. And if you're really behind the boys, let's get 66 on your profile, like Catherine did last week. Me and Flav are doing at the moment. Up the best is absolutely huge. Absolutely.
Good luck, boys. Good luck, boys. A lot depends on it. Not least your reputation, and just fucking do it for us.
Yeah, we need a victory. And also a bit of transfer dealings with Aunt Bessie's that they won't even be aware of. Tin Face 87, it was in the comments last week. He said, I can't believe it. I'm watching 66's goal. This is the same pitch I play on every week. I never knew it was such hallowed ground. Up the Bessies. Sign him up. Sign up Tin Face. And Tin Face 87, so he needs to be number 87. That is some fair dealing. You get him on a free. He'll do a great job for you, I think.
Can you have a look at Tin Face and see if you can get him in? Definitely, I think that's a great shout. Bring a player in.
Send us some keepy ups and skills, Tin Face video. You holding a spoon doing keepy ups and scoring some goals, and we'll show it next week. And that could be the first signing for the Bessies in the summer, in a huge summer rebuild if they aren't going to be able to win the Warrington District League this season. Exciting times. Speaking of transfers, what a link that is. Transfer taglines. We asked you last week to give us a catchphrase. Of course, Fabrizio Romano is the meth dealer of transfers, and he's got his catchphrase, which is, here we go. Do you know what I like as well? I'd quite like total agreement to get into that really tickled me when you said it last week.
Total agreement.
So, the miss, if you say like, the missus is going to, she's going to allow me to watch football, and you get total agreement. Total agreement. Yeah.
Total agreement.
So we asked for some taglines. Poke Mist said Flav already has a catchphrase. That will do. So, for example, Tottenham Hotspurs sign Jerome Boateng on a free, another injury-prone centre-back in his 30s. That'll do. That will do.
That'll do.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I'll read another one of yours. Steve Rawlings, Flav's tagline, approach the throne.
I don't know. I see. That's the cult.
Yes.
Approach.
That's
what happens when they approach the phone, Jim?
You fornicate, don't you? Lou Marshall, Flav's agent tagline would be, that'll do, pig.
That'll do, pig. Yeah, just go in there. Okay. Total completion, that'll do, pig.
Total completion. That's great. Approach the throne for total completion. Cameron Bowman said one that you spotted, this might happen, covers all bases. Clever.
Yeah, I spotted that was fantastic.
And Will Stewart's got one for me. Journalist tagline for Jim. Oh, he'll sign. Oh, that's quite good. I quite like that.
He'll sign.
Very good, very good, very good. Bloking it up a bit. First of all, we got the dude with the accent last week who's struggling. He's posh, southern. He's gone Cockney at uni, hasn't he? And now he's in too deep because they're becoming friends. I've deleted his message, so I can't remember his name. But we're asking people for help. Not much help from the comments. I feel like you are a little bit snookered here, mate. Mikey Head said, phasing out the accent is probably the safest play, but we need an emergency plan in the meantime because phasing it out is going to take some time. if he's with his football mates and another friend shows up, he has to pretend he has no idea who they are and maintain the accent.
Or start a fight with him. Start a fight, just punch him.
Point him out, just knock him out. Hopefully this will never have to happen as he'll phase it out in time, but drastic times call for drastic measures. Interesting.
Still can't think of a way out for him.
I think it's really tricky. I thought someone said that there might be an option where he pretends his mum calls and he does a different accent and he says, "Oh God, yeah, I'm terrible for that," and then from there he's maybe able to kind of phase it out. It's tough. The fact that no one's really commented on it is a problem. You know.
No, he needs to. You can say he could bang his head and then go, oh, like, you know, some people have like.
Interesting. Joe Bailey, that's what Joe Bailey says, one of our patrons. Yeah. Fake a brain injury and say you adopted a Bosch accent. Amazing. Maybe that's the option.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck, mate. Let us know what you do, how you get on with it. Daniel PT, just checking in with bloking it up a bit. As a man who works in hospitality management, I spend 75% of my time bloking it up a bit. If I told all my guests I'm a slug and dream of transcending this humble life to join the Jeff and cult, I'd be a social pariah in seconds. Though I have become somewhat competent at catching people who are bloking it up and take great amusement in trying to catch them out. I can spot a mockney a mile off. And I thought that's interesting. How do you spot a mockney? And then how do you make them like squirm a bit? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I wouldn't make them squirm. I'd just let them be. But it's hard to. It's. You can just tell, like, when someone's putting it on, like a proper Cockney accent. Even Danny Dyer puts his accent on a little bit. I mean, very rarely do you meet anyone who's as Cockney as that. It's an affection. I think most of the people. My dad probably has the most Cockney sounding voice.
Mm.
But even that's not extreme. So yeah, I mean, genuinely can tell because they just over accent things.
I think sometimes as well you get a bit excited. I think that's probably with me. I get like I'm excited. I'm with the lads, and I think I dial it up then. Maybe.
I don't think I've only seen it in football, but a lot of people do it in football. But you don't do it generally, I don't think.
Okay, cheese fella. AT said that I love this. I don't know if we're still doing bloking it up, but I thought I'd share this short experience for your entertainment. I recently couldn't find the hummus in Tesco's, so I asked a member of staff where I could find it. When he showed me, I caught myself telling him, "It's not for me, obviously. It's for my missus." I don't touch that stuff. I I love that.
I love hummus.
What are blokey treats and non-blokey treats? Do you know what I mean?
It's a good point. Good question. I'd say,
like, if you're watching a football with a mate, do you bloke up your snacks? I don't know. I do go. You know, you go to the pizza, you go to the crisps, you go to the 6-pack of bottle of beer. I guess that's just football, isn't it? I don't know.
There's no greater shame than bringing in fast food into a work office. Like when we were at Ball Street and we'd been out in midweek, we've done it again in the midweek, and you get in, and McDonald's was at Victoria Station. You just stand in that queue of shame, looking at yourself, looking at the floor.
Nibble on your hash brown. Tough times.
Well, it's even before you get it. You're in the queue and you're in that station and it's busy and you're sweating.
You're hot,
horrible hot hangover. It's the middle of summer and you're waiting for your egg McMuffin, just thinking, this is shit. This is shit. And I could do something about this. I could go over to Leon. I could do that. That's probably healthier breakfast. Maybe an egg and avocado McMuffin. But no, I stay in the McDonald's queue. And I wait for my disgusting little muffin and my horrible little greasy ash brown.
And you've got two shameful options. You can eat it in the sort of faux restaurant, stand-up restaurant they've got, or you can go back to the office. But you know, as soon as you get to the office, you're gonna go, even if you get there early and you're there before other people, you're gonna take it out. You're gonna take it out the wrapping. You're gonna look at it. You're just about to eat it, and someone's gonna walk in, and you're gonna look at them with shame. That's what's happening.
And do you know what's even more shame? If you've bought two.
Yeah. You sort of water, yeah. But I mean, that's your own. You should be eating one on the walk if you're going to buy two.
Some people might not mention it. Like, I don't think Craig he might have given it a little nod. Sam would have went, "Oh yeah, McDonald's." Yeah. He wouldn't let it be.
He wouldn't have. Another link here. Samisms. We spoke about this last week, and yes, I think someone found one of them. So there's two from Bull Street Days News at 10. One is when Sam asks himself a question, which I think
Have you got these lined up?
No, I don't. But
it's a shame.
Louis got it on the James and Flav community page. But there's another one that I would still like to be found. I feel like it's a Friday, and it's a sign off from Sam, and it's not a Samism, but he goes, it's something along the lines of he's trying to just get to the end of it, and he goes,
close it off.
He goes, have a great weekend. Good feeling. Have a great Friday, a great weekend. Good feelings all round.
I think it's happy feelings all around.
Okay. So
and then as you said it, his eyes just go wide, and then we cut the stream.
So I'd love it if someone could find that. That would be amazing.
Happy feelings all around.
I feel like it's great feelings all around. Something like that. We'll watch it back.
Right.
Anyway, Samism, we asked you for yours. If anyone, I swear, like someone said that someone did it in the. It might have been the kickoff of Rory, but it wasn't a strong enough one for me to put forward. And someone else did it as well somewhere else. But if you do spot them, then please do tag me in them. Adam Lewis, Samism for you. I recall when James sent out, I'm getting called out here, sent out a tweet and was over the moon about making a prediction between Liverpool and Real Madrid in the Champions League. To quote Jim, he stated, even a clock is right twice. Yeah.
Even a clock is right twice.
Even a broken. It's even a broken clock. It's right twice.
You know what you mean.
Luke Bromwich, Samism for you. You've opened that can of worms. Now lie in it. And Harry Sully, not sure if this counts, but I once got slept like a log and throwing the baby out with the bathwater mixed up and told someone I slept like a baby in a bathtub.
That's good.
Very, very good. Just a quick dip into the Jeff and Land cult. Mezzaplay says, can't wait for James to make it in the football world, all just to be cancelled a week later when people find out about his cult. Yeah. But there wasn't any more cult chat, really. So maybe it's calmed down. Maybe it's calmed down.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough, Geoff.
That's enough, 6. Yeah. God, yeah. That's 30 in the first hour, Flav. Well done. You have a longer lunch. School rules.
30.
CB, school rules. In my school, you weren't allowed to wear shirts with pockets. If you did, it would literally be ripped off, leaving you with a sewing square of shame on your chest. Mad, that, isn't it? Daniel Burgess replied, that escalated to ripping the pocket off of other people's blazers. School got very annoyed, but could only identify the victims rather than the perpetrators. They would be called into the removal room and interrogated. Very tense few weeks for Daniel Burgess. Interesting. I don't remember that. That must have skipped past me, that one. School nicknames. All right, lads, as you can probably tell by the surname, this is from Jake Seaman. That's Jake Seaman. Tell by my surname. School was always going to be an issue when it comes to what people called me. Very few called me Jake. Most called me Seaman. In lessons or around teachers where other nicknames were probably not acceptable. The rest of the time I was referred to as a cycle of names that never really stuck for too long, which included Spunk Monkey, Sperm Whale, the Seminator, and Jizz. Right, Jizz?
You know...
The only one, it's hilarious. That's what I love. You can't choose what sticks, can you? The only one that really stuck was Dolphin because of my big forehead. Dolphin. That's quite good. There's something about like sort of basic, dull things that are good nicknames. I love that. My schoolmates also had nicknames such as Moroccan Sunset because of his ginger hair, Jeremy Clarkson because he wore dark blue jeans one day with his black blazer and shirt, and Nonce because he went out with a girl from the year below.
Nonce.
Brutal. Really good.
Did you see that? Did you see that series 3 of Afterlife is being filmed?
Is it great?
He posted a still of the scene where they're in the pub, and he's going. He's got loads of names. Go on, tell him some of your names. There's the Nonce, Pedo Ian, Harold Shitmum, Guillermin Ryder, Billy the Cunt, Michael Parkin Bum.
That's so good. That's better than the whole series, isn't it? That one. Okay, right. We're getting to birds and that.
Okay.
And I just need to check my. No, nothing. Shame. Okay, so I'm going to show you something now. That picture's great.
I wonder if we can get a list of Samazons, right? And then we get Sam on the phone and say, "Is this one of yours?" and see how he reacts to them.
Yeah, no, is Samism? Ask Sam if it's is this a Samism or is this a phrase? Like, is it right or is it wrong?
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be good. Right. So we had a little saga over the last couple of weeks, and the guy is called Robin. Robin's been. He told us about a romantic gesture, about what was it? Getting a foam roller for a friend who's a lady, not a lady friend. But then me and you, Flav, we said, why not? Why aren't you lady friend? Why isn't she a lady friend?
Just ask the question.
You know, in the most respectful fashion possible. Why don't you just get the gravy?
Just get the gravy, pour it all over your dinner.
Both of you.
Both your dinner, all over it. Yeah.
So what did he say to me? Robin messaged me and said that he'd messaged the girl. Dum dum dum.
Oh, so he's not. So we've established once again that Robin does fancy the girl, or the bloke does fancy the girl that he's friends with.
Possibly, yeah. I think he's yeah, maybe. Good point, Flav. Reading between the lines there. Right. Robin said, "So your spoon picture made an appearance in the show." So remember the picture last week. Not gonna lie, got a bit weird to the point where they said, it feels American, where they said he's never going to show her this now because it'd be so awkward. But I did say I'd share their reply with you, so here it is. Starts at this specific
time. You know
time.
what? I like his style here because he's not saying anything about the conversation. He's just going, "Let me just put the ball in her court.
Yeah, good teasing.
See what happens."
Good teasing. Less is more.
Good work. I like that.
So he messaged me saying, if she responds and she's happy to, speak with us about it and share it, then we will do on the pod. That was a few days ago. I messaged Robin this morning. No reply as of yet. Not on here, but from him. So there may have been a reply.
He might be in America.
You hope so. But I just want to set up that cliffhanger.
Do you feel a bit bad for putting them in this situation?
I think sometimes you've got to force the issue a little bit. And I use that word force very casually. Okay.
No, what I mean is
nudge. You've got to nudge. Sometimes you've got to nudge the issue.
Is this fair that we've put this girl in this situation for a bit of content?
Yeah, sure. But I mean, that's it's not bad content if there's a happy ending at the end. Again, I use that phrase incredibly casually.
Happy ending.
And I think even nudge is too strong. Sometimes you need to raise your eyebrows at the issue. That's what we're doing here. We're raising our eyebrows at the issue.
Do you know,
and it is an issue.
Happy Monday. I mean, happy Monday. Happy ending.
Yeah.
Happy ending. Right? They're like
same thing. More of a weekend thing.
It happens on Monday.
Who's having sex on Monday? If someone's having sex on Monday, congratulations.
Yeah, but
it's not a sex day, is it? Monday.
And the happy ending isn't sex, really, is it? It's you'll get a massage at a massage parlour. At the end, she'll go, "Happy ending," and then you go.
I mean, I've never had a happy ending. So is that how it works? Then
I'll tell you how it works. So you're lying on your back. You've got a towel there, and at the end, obviously you're sitting there and you've got a massive, a massive wanger on, and then she goes to you, "Happy ending," and you're like, "Yeah, right, then go on." And then she just...
Yeah, that'd be lovely, thanks. It's like, it's the equivalent of, do you want wax in your hair after it's been cut? Is that what
yes, that's it. It's not, you don't have to make it weird.
Bit of wax.
It
Happy
doesn't
ending.
have to be weird. Doesn't have to be weird. Just for the record, just in case my mum watches this, I've never had a happy ending. But what I did find out is I just assumed it was a myth. Like, because you don't go, people get massages all the time for muscle injuries or just because it makes you feel good and invigorated, right? And I can't imagine a situation where the woman at any time goes, happy ending? And then you go, okay, yeah, all right, go on then. Like, unless you're going to a brothel, right?
Okay.
Unless you're going to a brothel and you know what this is about, then you know that the point of going in there is to get a hand job, whatever you might want. But the idea of a happy ending was that this is something that occasionally happens when you get a massage. And I thought, nonsense, absolute, but can't be true. Then I found out a friend of mine, it's like someone I know through someone. She's a masseuse, and occasionally she does give a happy ending.
No.
Yeah.
What? She's single, is she? I hope.
Yeah. Yes, she's single.
Right. What? She just go. What if she fancies him? What?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know well enough to ask. I heard this through someone else. But I don't judge her. It's up to her. I have no issue. Do what you want.
Was she doing it? Did she get a little?
I don't know if she gets a little extra or not.
And you use that phrase casually. She should get a bigger tip. Again, I'm using that phrase casually. Get her on No Holds Barred. That'd be hilarious.
I don't know if she's happy that I even know about it, let alone.
That's fascinating, though. But yeah, that's what. So, is the happy ending happening because she fancies the dude, or is she, or woman, or are they doing it because there's a bit more money available? I'd love to know that.
Women, because as we know, women can't orgasm. It's a myth.
Yeah.
So definitely men. Yeah, I think that maybe if she fancies them and she's massaging them, and then she's unless you're you have a tiny penis, you can't miss it if you're sitting under a towel, right?
But normally you're lying on your front, aren't you?
Do you know what? I don't really like the idea of going a stranger come and rubbing my body. To be honest, so I've never been on one. I've never been to one, but
I think this is just to be clear. Don't order a massage now expecting that to be a possibility. All right, you're going to get yourself into all sorts of trouble that you don't want to be in. That will be highly embarrassing for you.
This is
do
what
not
I'm
let
saying.
Your mind wander on this, young men. Okay.
This is what I'm saying. Is like it is a myth, but apparently I know someone through someone else that it isn't a myth.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How do we get to that? Anyway, Robin, I'd love to know how this goes. I feel like we've, greased the wheels to allow this conversation to happen, and hopefully it has a happy ending. Not that kind, but do what you want. Right. Now it's the moment.
As long as you have permission, though. Do what you want. Get
the bill payer's permission. Right. Sonny, come on. Here we go. What a saga it's been. The Sonny saga.
Rob just goes, I can't believe I paid £20 just to get rubbed.
Yeah. And that's what
it is, though. It's just a big rub.
But you're all going to be gutted when Rob Turner's going to be gutted when he goes in, and like she's, or it is a woman in this case, gives him a massage, and at the end he goes, okay, so if you want to get yourself dressed up, I'll leave the room, and he's like, what? Hang on.
Oh, can I have
a happy ending? As she starts to leave the room, a happy ending. What? That's what I mean. This is a dangerous scenario.
Never say it. If it's going to be initiated, it'll be by the masseuse. So, just don't. Have a wank. You know what I mean?
Me and
cheaper.
Me and a friend of mine. He had this. I met him once. I bumped into him once at Clapham High Street on the train back to Peckham, and he'd been drinking, and so when you're not drunk, it's mid-afternoon, no one else on the train's drunk, but he's drunk, and so he's talking too loud.
Yes. Yeah, I know exactly.
Right. He starts telling me because Fam wanted to get a cleaner, and so I obviously played no part in it. So she spoke to to the guy, and he said, "I'll never watch this." He said, "I've got a cleaner." And so when I saw him on the train, we started talking about that, and he said she's got quite a good body, and I it's a nightmare. It's really awkward for me because when I'm in the flat and she's cleaning, I've watched too much porn in my life. I'm waiting for something I'm expecting something to happen.
That is bad.
And I'm like, I said, quieten down your voice. He's drunk.
Don't not like stop watching porn. Just don't.
Yeah, keep telling me. Yeah, keep telling me what you're talking about. Just quietly. Yeah, send it to me later in a voice note. No, I was like, mate, like you've got a problem. If you're in there thinking like this is gonna something's gonna happen, Christ, be careful. Anyway, Sonny, we've got an update. So the last time we spoke to Sonny, the person from the start of the whole story, and go back, watch the end of the podcast if you haven't got to this before. But I tell you what, let's give you. Here's a quick breakdown. This guy liked this girl at university, went to her house party. Instead, he got too drunk and he didn't go and talk to her. She spoke to a guy with arms bigger than trees. He thought he had a chance next time because she'd been quite flirty with him. He screwed it up again because he hit one of her good friends who pushed him. And so it looked like it was done and dusted. There was then a new girl that he thought he fancied and something might happen. That didn't happen. He got friend zoned there. But then all of a sudden, the first girl wanted to play football with him or watch the football with him. So they went and did that, and we felt like it was back on, and there was a party on Saturday.
Good.
Okay. And he said, so I think I messaged him last week saying,
There you go.
Give us an update. And yeah, he went, well, it's the girl's birthday party on Saturday night and she's asked me to come round. Reckon this is the day. If you see this before Saturday, any pearls of wisdom would be much appreciated. If not, I'll give the full debrief next week. I said, get 3 indicators of interest and then go for it, son. He gave me his update and here it is. I haven't read this, so I don't know what's happened here, but I'm excited. Okay.
Yes, go on.
Sonny says this. Much like Marvel, the previous Birds and That installments have all been building to this endgame-like conclusion. Quick backstory. It was the Tree Girl's birthday party, and she invited me and said I could bring who I want. Interesting. Flav's quotes of all or nothing bounce around in my brain. First step, caught myself a fresh trim. Get the bevs in. Invited the boys round to watch the Villa game, and after downing a few shots after El Ghazi stuck it top bins, we headed over. Win, lose or draw, I was going to be straight up with her and ask her if she wanted to go out for a drink sometime.
Good.
I weren't bottling it this time. He said weren't. I wasn't bottling it this time. Couldn't let the slugs down. Me and the boys rocked up. I scanned the room. Target acquired.
Okay, quiet.
Since it was her birthday, I went up to her to say happy birthday, but after that I kept to my tactic of playing the long game. Only this time not throw any punches or kiss her flatmates. Oh yeah, he kissed a flatmate. Sounds simple enough. The night progressed. Things were going well. I was balancing time between the boys and her expertly, if I do say so myself. And I do say so myself. I was like Andy Robertson. When the opportunity came to get forward on the offensive, I'd take it. But I knew when to fall back and bide my time. Tactical. That's class. After a few hours, the perfect opening to shoot my shot had arrived. He uses that phrase casually. Her speaker had run out of battery. She asked me if I could get mine. Imagine that. She goes, yeah, no, I brought 2. Just in case. Would have been a bit iffy. Anyway, she asked me if I could get mine. I'd forgotten my keys, so said, that's fine. Just needed her to come with me to open the gate, isolating the target that has been acquired previously. This was the moment. On home territory as well. I'd won the free kick. I'd lined it up to perfection. I just had to hope I could convert. We get back to mine, and I simply said, can we chat for a minute? Come on! Eventually, I stumbled my way to asking her if she'd be up for a drink at the bar sometime. The ball had left my boot. It was over the wall. There was an awkward pause, which immediately filled me with dread. Not going to lie, boys and girls. Her response was along the lines of, I really like spending time with you, but I don't think I'm into you in that way. No!
Oh, God, that's got to sting.
Oh, mate. No way. The ball ballooned into Rose Ed.
Now do you salvage that? Oh, yeah, right. Well, no, yeah, that's no problem. I just meant to drink anyway as mates.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it was really awkward. I played it off cool. Think the words, we move, left my mouth. And my plan was to get back to the boys, break the news, and then get so drunk I won't remember the L I had just taken.
Haven't taken an L. Sorry, go on.
However, little did I know, things were about to look up for me. The Holy it's then written. Let me show you this. The Holy Trinity. He's then written. Bosh. Last few weeks and months, there had been 3 girls I had been chatting to on and off. 2 of whom I had known for a fact liked me, and were both defo a bit of me. As they would say on Love Island, one was a 10 out of 10 long shot, and as I stumbled back, I'd seen that 2 of the 3 were also at the party. Yes, I'd taken an L, and a big one. But the bird and that, gods, had given me a chance for salvation. There's more to this, but I reckon I'll roll it over to next week because shit gets saucy, not gonna lie. Keep you in suspense, promise it's a better ending than Line of Duty as well. By the way, don't worry, boys. The end for this week. It's like a new Whitetail saga.
All I would say is, what you said about taking the L. You didn't take the L. You had the bollocks to ask, which is tough, which is hard to do. And, just by asking doesn't mean 100% you can get a positive reaction. But the fact you asked, and you instead of bottling it, actually, I think that's a big dub for you.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Yeah, I agree. You're brave. You're net up now. You don't have to waste your energy and time over that element of it. Yeah, I think it's great.
I think it's a bit. I mean, she just maybe. Oh, I don't know. Because it's weird that they had a game of football together, right? I don't know. Can't work that one out.
She's allowed to like football.
Well, I know that's not what I'm saying, am I, Jim? You're trying to do.
What are you saying?
She's allowed to like football, but it's a bit odd. I've never, in my entire life, just me and a bird had a kick around down the park. It is.
Yeah, I guess it's just the pair of you, isn't it? That's a good point. After that awkward moment, there were a few options from the patrons. Samajid said, "Happy ending."
Very good.
What else was there? There was another good one as well. What he should have said? He should have said, "We move. That'll do, pig."
That'll do, pig.
Wow. I mean, a great saga. You're giving us some great entertainment here, Sonny. And I think, look, we've alleviated. She's out now. She's forgot that she's like, once you leave the club, you are dead to me. I think that's something that Flav said numerous times.
Yes, exactly. The friend zone. I don't miss that place.
Yeah, you are in the friend zone with this one. It's over now. But do you know what I mean? Isn't that refreshing? You've got a clear mind. Move on.
Jim, did you ever find, because this has never really happened to me, the relationships I've had, or the instances where, had a one-night stand or whatever it might be, that it's all happened quite quickly rather than there being this prolonged relationship. Yeah. I've never had a prolonged relationship and then gone into a kind of an item. Never.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right. That's never worked. It has to be. But I remember Mum saying to me, like, it shouldn't be complicated, and that's so true. Like, it should be generally. I mean, that doesn't help the bit, Mum. So thanks, but but generally, you're right. It should just happen so easily, and I mean that was certainly the case for me. So, and I know it was for you as well. So yeah, I think you're right. But I think we've got 3 weeks more out of this, hopefully. So.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil it.
In terms of it happening, it's with my missus. I was chatting up her mate, and feel quite bad about this. And then Ollie walked behind her and I caught her eye, and I was like,
You got pretty eyes.
hey, turn round.
No, not you, a mate. Your mate.
You got pretty eyes. What's your name? You got pretty eyes, yeah? Yeah, pretty much like that.
Lovely.
But so I'm saying, the minute I saw her, I was like, fuck, I need to talk to that girl. I need to talk to her right now. And what I did.
That's lovely. That is lovely.
And here we are.
What a great place to end.
She's at work at the moment. Here I am.
There we have. The Sunny Saga continues. Hopefully the sun will shine next week with another beautifully written, by the way, update.
Yeah, that was good.
Really good writing, great analogies, great work. And there we have it. Another bumper edition of the James and Flav for Now podcast. Poor Andreas has just got PSD from that last story, which is a shame. So take a breath. You know, you'll have another week. Or no, you won't. You see us on Tuesday, all being well, for what, fingers crossed, will be a watch-along to the Aunt Bessie's highlights against the Scum Internationale. Flav, do you want to say anything before we go?
Yeah, just the bloke I know who's into cryptocurrency has just sent me a message saying, buy Atom. So if you've got spare cash and you do crypto, go and buy some Atom, accordingly, apparently.
If I give you some money, will you buy it for me? Because I just don't get it.
Can't be bothered.
See you later, guys. Have a great weekend. Lots of love. Goodbye. Oh, hit like button, subscribe.